Alrighty guys, so we're at Watkins Glen in the Radical SR3, I do believe, both on the Steam Workshop for free downloads for RF2. So going into turn one, you're going to be looking for the number boards on the left hand side. Most people are going to be braking at the 200 board. I'm going to be braking about 150, which is about here. These cars are very light, very good brakes, lots of aero. They're easily able to slow down quicker in a shorter amount of time. Want to turn in relatively late. Don't hit the top side of this curb, just hit the bottom part of the curb. Come out nice and wide. You can get onto this curb here as long as you get back over before this second white line on the left hand side. You have to have two tires back on the track or else it will be a dirty lap. Coming up the hill, you can go full throttle in these cars all the way up. You want to apex at about the light post. Then you want to drive straight at this curb and you'll apex and roll around it. As soon as you see the end of this wall, you want to drive the car straight at the end of the wall. You should be meeting the start of the curb and the end of the wall before you get grass. So where that barrier kind of shrinks down a level and the start of the curb is, that's where you want to meet this side of the track, and you want to follow this curb all the way around. When you get in line with this tower or that road, you want to start letting the car just drive itself back to the left. We are doing the NASCAR layout, so you will have the bus stop. In these cars, you can brake very, very late as opposed to most. I'm braking at the 200 board or a little bit after, but I'm also turning in early. So you want to turn in, brake at the 200 board or at the Marshall stand. You can use all of this curb. It's not that bumpy in when you're at speed. You can use this curb and you kind of just hold the steering all the way around the same amount at speed once you get it turned, and hit all four curbs with the tires, come all the way back out. When you get to this patch of grass, or when this patch of grass ends and the road starts or the pavement starts, that's when you want to start turning in. You can also follow the rubber lines that are kind of there. This corner you can either do a double apex and come out and then come back in, or you can just come in a little bit later, come all the way out, use this curb, two tires over it to make sure your right tires don't get over. Let the car slowly guide back to the right as our next corner is a left-hander. You're going to see the number boards on the right hand side. They are kind of off track because of this piece of grass. You want to brake just after the 200, so I would say like 150 mark. So about here, 150 mark you want to be braking. Trail brake in because you don't need to slow down too much. You can apex in the middle to the end of the corner so your car can stay to the middle of the track or as close to the middle as you can. Be all the way back over to the left. Now this one has a very weird braking point. I kind of just feel it out. But if you use the yellow line on the right hand side, the pit entry line on the right hand side, the start of it, you have to kind of guess. Like I'm in line with the start of it, like about here. At speed, that's where you want to be braking, and you want to not brake super hard and let the car roll in. This is where things are going to get iffy because if people are pitting, you have to pay attention. You want to come in and then you want to let the car come all the way back out nice and wide and get nice and close to this wall. Flirt with it as much as you can, and go from there. So we'll do a flying lap here just to see what we can do. Looking for about the 150 mark. Get down to third gear. Obviously I wasn't carrying enough speed out of the last corner. Come out, use all the curb, make sure you're back on the track before the second white line. Come in, apex at that little road, straight to this curb, come all the way out, and then straight to the wall where it meets the start of the curb. Follow this curb all the way around. At the row on the right, that's when you want to let the car guide itself back to the left. And we're going to be looking for the number boards on the left hand side and the Marshall stand. You can brake at the Marshall stand. I know it doesn't feel like you can, and you kind of just keep the car at a constant turning with enough momentum. Turn in at the start of that pavement, let the car rotate. You're kind of feathering the gas all the way through in fourth gear. Shift up right before you come to the bottom of the hill. Two tires over the curb, nothing more. Let the car guide back to the right hand side of the track. Looking for the 200 board. Brake nice and late. Don't have to brake hard. I brake a little bit too much there, but that's okay. Slide is in a little bit. That was not necessary, but that's all good. Use all of that curb. Come all the way out nice and wide as you can. And you'll come across the line at a nice 1 minute 16. Brake at the 150. All the way out. Use all the curb. That actually felt a lot nicer. I did slide a little bit going in, but that's okay. Fifth gear all the way up, as you gotta go up the hill, so you want to carry the momentum and keep the RPMs up. Once you hit the top of the hill, then you can shift up to sixth gear. Let the car track back to the left hand side of the track, set up perfectly for this bus stop. Use all the curb. I'm sliding a little bit because I've been driving a little bit too many stock cars lately. Let the car rotate into the corner. If it isn't rotating the way you want it, just lift off a little bit. You don't have to lift all the way, just a little bit to let the car rotate a little bit more. Track back to the right hand side of the track. Braking at the 150. That was a nicer corner. That was way better. No, not as much sliding as the last lap. And this will be a nice, good little 114.7. So that's how you guys do this track. Go ahead, give her practice. Stock cars do this track all the time. NASCAR comes to Watkins Glen, I do believe, almost every year, and they do this track layout because it's the most oval of the track layout. Plus, the chicane's fun to do. They do it in NASCAR too at Daytona. So go ahead, give your shot, and hope to see you guys on track.